Joining me now is former House Speaker and informal Trump advisor, Newt Gingrich. Newt, it's great to see you. The Constitution and American values, those are two weak spots for Biden, exposed by the president tonight in that small exchange.
I think that's right. And I have to say, I just noticed that Telemundo on their Spanish language version ran a poll for their viewers. And this is a little bit of a surprise to me, they picked Trump as the winner by 66-34. And that's on the Spanish language version of Telemundo, which I'm sure is something that no Democratic consultant wants to hear. I think that Biden did okay because he didn't collapse. I think a lot of us looked in there, we really wondered which Biden was going to show up. But he actually had no answers. He had no substance. His positions are either vague or, frankly, unacceptable to the American people. I think President Trump went in to dominate. Whether that's a good or bad strategy, they'll have to decide later. But he did dominate. And I think he was communicating. You want a guy who's in charge, you want a guy who can solve problems, then he's going to go out and do that. I think the result was, for a lot of viewers, that it was sort of shocking to see the level of hostility and the level of intensity. But frankly, you go back 4 years, the debates with Hillary Clinton were very similar. I think Trump represents dramatic change. Liberals hate him. And I think that's, Biden was expressing how strongly they dislike him. And I think for a lot of Americans, calling the president a clown is totally unacceptable. But on the left, that's probably the mildest thing you can call him.
Yeah, Newt, I think tonight Biden was representing the swamp and President Trump was representing America, the rest of America. And the swamp wants to take their power back. And Biden, by the way, made this really, I thought, a troubling remark about voting on Election Day.
We're going to make sure that those people who want to vote in person are able to vote because enough poll watchers are there to make sure they can socially distance. The polls are open on time, and the polls stay open until the votes are counted. And this is all about trying to dissuade people from voting because he's trying to scare people into thinking that it's not going to be legitimate.
So wait, he wants the polls to stay open until the votes are counted. And then he went on to say, mail-in ballots can come in on election night and they could be counted days later. So what does that exactly mean? And what kind of chaos does that throw into the system, Newt?
Look, that was a Bidenism. That's like his serving in the Senate for 180 years. That's like 200 million people died from COVID. But Biden can't handle details very well. He did much better tonight than certainly I thought he would. But in the end, he's Biden. I'm sure he did not mean, in some states they're talking about your ballot can come up to 9 days after the election. I don't think that Biden meant that they should keep the polls open for 9 days. But again, what people see is a very aggressive, very tough guy in Trump who really works hard to get specific things done. And they see this very pleasant, kind of laid back guy in Biden who talks in vague generalities and would like you to think he's a nice guy. By the way, I think he is the swamp. I think he doesn't just represent them. You have to recognize this guy's been around for 48 years in Washington. At some point, you do get to be classified as part of the swamp if you've been in it for 48 years.
Yeah, you're ossified in the swamp. The swamp becomes solid, and you're part of it as a fossil at that point. Well, now, Biden actually, Newt, also brought up that obscene and defamatory false hit job in the Atlantic, claiming that the president had mocked dead soldiers. But then tonight, the president had this comeback ready to go.
He made a statement about the military. He said I said something about the military. He and his friends made it up, and then they went with it. I never said it.
Okay.
That is
what
not
he
true.
did is
You're done in this segment.
He called the military stupid bastards.
I
and he
did
said
not
it on
say
tape. He said stupid bastards.
Please,
He said it.
Stop.
I would never say that.
Play it. Play it.
Yeah, he was kind of talked over at that point by the moderator, I believe, and Biden. But that is on tape, and people don't believe it. Biden asked for the tape. Newt, let's play it.
Clap for that, you stupid bastard. Man, you are a dull bunch. Must be slow here, man.
Well, Biden has to be careful what he wishes for. That clip's been around for a long time. He's Said a lot of dumb
Yeah,
things,
but
Newt.
one of the things people, and I just say this from my own experience, if you're a conservative and you're in a debate like this, you have to be aggressive, because the tactic of the left, both from the standpoint of the moderator and from the standpoint of the candidate, is going to be to put in things and hope that you'll be patient and you'll be pleasant, and they'll get to smear you and defame you and say things that aren't true. And if you're not very aggressive in coming back at those things, you're just going to get run off the stage. And if you go back and look at the Republicans who didn't do well in debates, they were people who were nice and they were pleasant, and they allowed the moderator and the Democrat to define the debate. Trump went in there, I think, determined to break it all up and to impose his ideas, his values, his experiences, and to in a sense, pull the mask off of Biden. That's why he went after Hunter Biden so strongly. That's why he went after Biden. I mean, Biden doesn't recognize that Antifa's an organization.
I mean, where's he been? Guess someone's got to tell Antifa that.
Yeah, look, Biden has to represent the left, or he would not have a chance as the Democratic nominee. And so he can't deal with law and order. I thought the moment when he could not name a single police group that was endorsing him, I mean, what a huge change. Historically, police groups were for the Democrats. They were from big cities. They were from Democratic areas as a general rule. And now they're virtually unanimously for Trump.
Yeah.
That's a very big sea change in America.
Newt, it's so great to see you tonight. Give our best to Rome and the ambassador. Great to see you.